We are outside the map, and today we want to know, have you ever dreamed of walking through a castle that looks like it came straight out of a fairy tale? France holds hundreds of fortresses, palaces, and residences that not only tell stories of kings and battles, but also of love, art, and secrets hidden behind their walls. On this journey, you will discover some of the most beautiful and surprising castles in the country, as well as the magic that surrounds them. Gardens that seem endless, halls that still echo with royal banquets, and corners that reveal mysteries of the past. Imagine walking through stone corridors bathed in the golden light of sunset, or peering from a tower where European history was written with every glance toward the horizon. Stay with us because what you'll see today is not just a list of castles. It's an invitation to experience France from within, amid beauty and frozen moments in time. Let's begin. Chenonceau, the castle of the ladies. In the heart of the Loire Valley, where rivers meander through vineyards and forests, stands one of France's most fascinating castles, Chenonceau, known as the Castle of the Ladies. Its location on the banks of the Cher River immediately signals that this is no ordinary fortress, but a masterpiece that combines history, beauty, and unique symbolism. Chenonceau earned its nickname because it was women who shaped its destiny during Renaissance France. It was not kings or warriors who defined its splendor, but ladies with ambition, power, and artistic sensibility. Each left her mark, transforming the castle into a place where politics, intrigue, and aesthetics intertwined. The architecture is a true gem. What sets it apart from any other castle in the Loire is its construction over water, an elegant bridge stretching across the river, which centuries ago served both as a passage and a ballroom. Walking through its galleries feels like floating above the Cher, with the windows reflecting light on the tranquil waters. The visual effect is hypnotic, a perfect union between nature and architecture. And when talking about Chenonceau, we cannot ignore the most famous duel in its history, Diana of Poitiers versus Catherine de' Medici. Diana, the mistress of Henry II, received the castle as a gift and transformed it into a palace full of gardens and refinement. But when the king died, Catherine, his widow, quickly claimed what she considered hers. She took the property from Diana and, with an assertion of absolute power, made Chenonceau her residence. Catherine hosted spectacular parties here and used the castle as a political stage, reinforcing the image of the monarchy during the height of the Renaissance. Today, Chenonceau remains one of the most photogenic castles in France. From its perfect reflection in the Cher to gardens designed with impeccable symmetry, it's impossible not to reach for the camera. Every angle reveals a postcard. Elegant towers, springtime flowers, and a silhouette illuminated by the sunset. As we leave this floating palace behind, the journey continues through the Loire Valley, where castles unfold like chapters of the same book. Our next destination takes us to one of the grandest and most enigmatic, Chambord, a creation that seems born from the imagination of a genius. Chambord, a king's obsession. In the very heart of the Loire Valley stands one of France's most imposing and enigmatic castles, Chambord. Surrounded by a forest as large as the city of Paris, this palace feels more like a stone dream than a practical residence. From the very first glance, its silhouette of towers, chimneys, and domes astonishes, as if it were a miniature city. Its creator, King Francis I, wanted to capture the full spirit of the Renaissance here. More than just a place to live, Chambord was conceived as a symbol of power and grandeur, a visual declaration that France could compete with Italy in artistic splendor. Interestingly, despite the magnitude of the project, Francis I spent only a few weeks in the castle during his lifetime. His legacy, however, is etched into every stone. Mystery surrounds its architectural design. It is said that Leonardo da Vinci, who spent his final years in France under the king's patronage, may have inspired the plans. While there is no definitive proof, certain elements, such as symmetry, geometric complexity, and especially the famous double staircase, support this theory. The staircase is undoubtedly the crown jewel of the interior. Two independent spiral ramps that allow two people to ascend without ever crossing paths, yet always able to see each other through the central openings. A masterpiece of engineering, it reflects not only innovation but also deep symbolism. Power rising without meeting, grandeur multiplied. If Chenonceau represented the feminine, delicate, and intimate, Chambord is its masculine counterpart. Monumental, excessive, and designed to impress. Together they form a perfect contrast, summarizing the two faces of the French Renaissance. And from the vast forests surrounding Chambord, our journey opens northward. Beyond the Loire, we find the traces of another era, medieval Brittany, with its austere fortresses and legends that still echo within its walls. Fougères, Breton fortress. At the northernmost tip of Brittany, where for centuries the borders between rival kingdoms were drawn, stands Fougères, considered by many to be the largest medieval fortress in Europe. Its location is no coincidence. This territory was a strategic point, the stage for constant disputes between Brittany, France, and England, which explains the impressive scale of its walls and towers. The castle of Fougères is a perfect example of military architecture. With more than 13 towers, a system of moats fed by the Nanson River, and walls extending for hundreds of meters, it was designed to withstand prolonged sieges. This is not a refined palace like those of the Loire, it is a stone defensive machine. Its passageways, watchtowers, and fortified gates are a reminder that the survival of an entire territory was at stake here. Yet around this imposing fortress grew a village that developed under its protection. Half-timbered houses, medieval squares, and cobblestone streets keep alive the atmosphere of a time when the castle was the heart of daily life. Fougères was not only a military stronghold, but also the center of a community thriving in its shadow. The Breton essence is felt in every corner. From the language and traditional music to Celtic-rooted legends of heroes and magical creatures. Visiting Fougères is immersing yourself in a culture proud of its identity, which still retains an indomitable spirit today. And from these medieval walls in the northwest, our journey takes a leap southward. Ahead lies the golden light, lavender fields, and sunny elegance of Provence, where castles evolve into residences of a different style, more devoted to the art of living than to war. Les Baux-de-Provence, eagles of stone. In the heart of Provence, among silver olive groves and sun-drenched hills, rises a place that seems suspended between history and geology. Les Baux-de-Provence, perched on a rocky spur in the Alpilles mountain range. This medieval village merges with the limestone that supports it, as if it had been sculpted directly by nature. The uniqueness of Les Baux lies not only in its beauty, but in the way stone became home, wall, and stage. Narrow streets, medieval houses, and ruins blend seamlessly into the landscape, creating the impression that the entire village was born from the mountain itself. During the Middle Ages, the Lords of Baux were renowned for their ambition and power. They claimed to be descendants of the very Magi King Balthazar, and from this fortress, they ruled much of Provence. Yet their story is also one of inevitable decline. Internal wars, defeats, and the firm hand of the French kings eventually reduced the castle to ruins. Today, those ruins serve as an open-air museum, reminding us of the fleeting glory of human power. From above, the panoramas of the Alpilles are unforgettable. Lavender fields that change color with the seasons, vineyards stretching to the horizon, and the Mediterranean shimmering in the distance. It is a natural viewpoint that condenses all the charm of Provence in a single glance. But Les Baux also experiences a contemporary renaissance through art. In the old stone quarries is the famous Carrière de Lumière, where immersive light and sound shows transform the rocky walls into giant canvases celebrating artists like Van Gogh and Cézanne. It is a bridge between past and present, where medieval stones are illuminated by modern creativity. If you are drawn to these destinations where history and natural beauty intertwine, this is just the beginning. Subscribe to our channel now to discover more hidden places, enchanted castles, and landscapes that seem straight out of a dream. Rocamadour, the vertical village. In the heart of Occitania, perched above the canyon of the Alzou River, lies Rocamadour, a place that defies logic and takes your breath away. The so-called vertical village. From a distance, the view is striking. Houses, churches, and sanctuaries appear to hang from the cliffs, stacked in 3 levels rising one above the other, as if nature itself had decided to create its masterpiece here. The architecture of Rocamadour is simply impossible. Cobblestone streets climb steep, seemingly insurmountable slopes. Stairways connect temples with homes, and balconies appear to float over the void, creating a sense of vertigo and wonder. Every corner invites you to look both up and down at the same time, reminding you that here, engineering and faith joined forces to defy gravity. During the Middle Ages, Rocamadour was an important pilgrimage destination. Thousands of believers traveled from all over Europe to pay homage to its most treasured jewel, the Black Madonna, a statue that, according to tradition, performed miracles and protected the faithful. The miracles attributed to the Black Madonna drew both nobles and commoners, and the village grew around this devotion, becoming a symbol of spiritual power and material wealth, with churches, hostels, and pilgrimage paths that are still preserved today. What is most fascinating about Rocamadour is how it integrates with the natural landscape. The Alzou Canyon, surrounding forests and limestone cliffs, seem to form a single design, where human intervention does not destroy, but rather complements the majesty of the surroundings. Walking through its corridors and viewpoints allows you to feel the harmony between rock, water, and history. If Chenonceau and Chambord showcased Renaissance opulence and Fougères military strength, Rocamadour offers a contrast. Vertical intimacy and spirituality versus the horizontal monumentality of the Loire castles. Here, every step is an experience. Every staircase an invitation to contemplate the relationship between humans, faith, and nature. From these cliffs in Occitania, the journey continues southward, where new architectural surprises and picturesque landscapes await, reminding us that every corner of France has its own way of astonishing. Belcastel, the rescued village. In the heart of Aveyron, in the deepest and most tranquil parts of France, lies Belcastel, a village that seems frozen in time. Perched above the Aveyron River, with its medieval bridge and watchful castle, Belcastel witnessed centuries of history, until it reached a moment of total abandonment in the 20th century, when its houses and streets began to fall into oblivion. The village's revival is thanks to Fernand Pouillon, a visionary architect who saw beyond the ruins. With patience and respect for tradition, he restored houses, walls, and the castle, returning Belcastel to its original charm. Today, walking through its streets feels like stepping onto an authentic medieval stage, where every stone tells stories of effort, passion, and preservation. What is most remarkable about Belcastel is its authenticity in contrast to mass tourism. Unlike other more famous destinations, the experience here remains intimate. Visitors mingle with the 50 residents who keep everyday village life alive, from craft workshops to cafes where time seems to move more slowly. Every corner breathes history, but also life, and it is this blend that makes it truly special. Belcastel invites you not only to admire its architecture and landscape, but also to feel a connection with France's living history, where human intervention can rescue a place without erasing its essence. From these restored streets, the journey takes a new turn. we return to the Loire Valley, closing our tour among castles, fortresses, and magical villages, and preparing for the grand finale, where France's history and beauty intertwine in one last postcard that will remain etched in memory. Azay-le-Rideau, the mirror of the Renaissance. In the heart of the Loire Valley, on an artificial island that gently rises from the Indre River, stands Azay-le-Rideau, a castle that seems to float on water and has earned the nickname the Mirror of the Renaissance. Its location is perfect. Surrounded by a calm river and a carefully designed park, it immediately conveys a sense of serenity and harmony, inviting visitors to admire both its architecture and its reflection in the water. The castle was built by Gilles Berthelot, an influential financier and Renaissance patron, who knew how to combine wealth, culture, and artistic sensibility. More than a symbol of power, Azay-le-Rideau was conceived as a home, an intimate place where comfort and beauty intertwine in every hall, tower, and gallery. Every detail reflects the elegance of the era, from finely molded windows to carved chimneys, revealing that courtly life could also be welcoming and human. The most emblematic feature of Azay-le-Rideau is its reflection in the water. Viewed from the riverbank, the mirrored image creates the impression of a perfect palace, a visual metaphor for the Renaissance pursuit of balance, symmetry, and idealized beauty. This harmony makes the castle not just a place to visit, but a place to contemplate and feel. Azay-le-Rideau also exemplifies the evolution of French castles. From defensive fortresses like Fougères, where stone served war, to palaces like Chenonceau or this very castle, where comfort, aesthetics, and art take center stage. It is a perfect conclusion to our journey through France, where we have seen how each region stamped its character into stone. Brittany's military strength, Occitania's spirituality, the Loire's monumental grandeur, and Provence's intimacy. Contemplating Azay-le-Rideau is also a look back in time, feeling that we have traveled through a diverse country full of history, legends, and landscapes where nature and human craft blend seamlessly. This castle, suspended between water and sky, reminds us that France's castles are not just monuments. They are stories of lives, ambitions, and dreams, reflected in stone, wood, and water, continuing to inspire all who visit them today. Beyond the majesty of their towers and walls, the castles we have explored speak to us of something deeper: human ingenuity, ambition, passion, and beauty that transcends time. Chenonceau, Chambord, Fougères, Les Baux, Rocamadour, Belcastel, and Azay-le-Rideau are not just stone and water. They are silent witnesses to lives that left their mark, to decisions that changed history, and to dreams that continue to inspire all who approach them. France thus reveals itself as a true palimpsest of European history, where each region adds its own voice: the Renaissance delicacy of the Loire, Brittany's medieval strength, Occitania's vertical spirituality, and Provence's warm, artistic light. Each castle, each village, each corner reminds us that history is not confined to books. It is breathed in the corridors, reflected in the water, and felt in the stones. The most wonderful part of this journey is that it doesn't end here. Every visitor can make it a personal exploration, following less traveled paths, discovering hidden corners, and creating their own story among fortresses and palaces. And although today we have visited some of the most emblematic castles, France still holds many more secrets waiting to be discovered, from the hidden castles of Normandy to the forgotten palaces of Lorraine. We invite you to let your curiosity guide you, to walk among history and landscape, and to allow yourself to dream with every stone you touch. Because in France, every castle is an open door, and the adventure is only beginning.